Okay, so for part 4 of Letitia's garden, we are going to be going back to the inset mosaic technique, which means you'll probably need a smaller hook. So whichever one you've been using for your inset mosaic, switch that. So for me, that's my 3.5mm hook. Now, usually, as you know, with inset mosaic, we don't work the stitches into back loops and front loops like we were doing last time for the overlay, but we will be working through both loops. But just to get started, to kind of finish off our part 3 and end it the way we began, if you see at the beginning on this green line here, you could see the front loops there. So what I'm going to just do, just for this first row of part 4, we are actually going to start with back loop double crochets. So I've just put a slip knot on my hook. So we're going to start as always with 2 standard double crochets because that's our edge stitches. And now just for this row, we're just going to work all the way along in the back loops only, like so. So just so we get it evens out, so at the end there we're still seeing the front loops of our sort of green stitches from there. So yeah, just go all the way along there until you get to the last 2 stitches, and then obviously the last 2 stitches will be standard double crochets through both loops, and then you can one turning chain and then come all the way back doing your just standard double crochets all the way back. So you just go ahead and do the first 2 rows like so. Now done the first 2 rows, which is, I say, nice and straightforward, mainly back loop double crochets for row 1, and then the return row was all double crochets. And remember, now we're doing inset mosaic, we don't need to cut our yarn every row, so we've already done 2 rows with our CC2 colour. I'm still going to leave that attached and just now join in our CC5 or XX3 if you're doing the city colourway. So all we do is just pull that loop through there, pull that one down, whoops, pull that one down. So we leave a reasonable tail because we'll just have to probably weave that in at the end, but we're just gonna now we do our turning chain, see? And for this first couple of stitches, which are our edge stitches, so we know they're going to be double crochets, just going to work over that tail just to hold that nice and safe and secure until we get to the end and actually weave it all in properly. Okay, so that's the beginning there. So now, just before we start the main repeat, we've got, if you look at the chart, you'll see that there is actually a CC2 block there. So as we know, we don't pull that up, we're going to just be using our CC5 colour all the way along, so we need to leave a space. So I've just done 2 chain to leave to miss 1 stitch there, and we're now going to start the repeat proper with 3 double crochets. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then another 2 chain, miss a stitch. So that's all we're going to do. We're going to all the way along the row, we're going to just repeat that. So we've got 3 double crochets, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 3, 2, 3 double crochets, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch. So just carry along the row repeating that, and then when you get to the end you'll have your 2 stitches left, which are just going to be your 2 double crochets for your edge stitch. So just carry on and do that, and I'll meet you ready to come back the other way. So there is now row 3 completed. So as always, get to the end, 1 turning chain, turn around, and then it's a nice straightforward just double crochet in every stitch, and then just match your chains. So on this row they were all, every time you see a chain you know it's a 2 chain space, so it's just 2 chain, and then we've got the 3 double crochets which go into the 3 double crochets from the last row. So nice and easy, just carry along like that, and I will see you when you've done that ready to carry on and do row 5. So now it's time to start sort of building the pattern with row 5. So we're just going to leave our CC5 colour attached and just pull up that loop there of CC2. So make sure you don't leave this don't have that too tight there, just leave it sort of nice and sort of loose-ish. Don't worry, it'll all be hidden up in the border. Okay, so now it's time to do our turning chain and of course our 2 double crochets for our edge stitch. And now we can see straight away we need to fill in this space here where the chains were. So that is our treble, work 3 rows below. So it's nice and straightforward. Pick that up there and work the treble in there to fill that in. So now it's time to start the actual repeat. So we're starting straight away. We're going to do 2 chain, miss 1 stitch. So we're now going to have, you can see it's a bit difficult with this colour, a double crochet then goes in that second one of those 3 double crochets. And we have another 2 chain, miss that last of the 3 double crochets, and we've got a treble in there. And that is our repeat. So nice and easy. 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble, 3 rows down. So I say always make sure you work those trebles in front of the chains. I know it's tempting to work over them so that your back can look similar to the front, but that will affect the look of the stitches on the front. So say please work in front there. So 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble, 3 rows down. So just carry along the line like so, and obviously when you get to the end you'll have 2 stitches left, which will be your double crochets. So just 2 double crochets for the edge stitch, and I will meet you when you get there. Okay, so now at the end of row 5 we've got our turning chain, turn around, and as always, so that'll be the same for every single return row, wrong side row, that you're always going to be working a double crochet into every stitch. So whether it's a double crochet like the first 2 are, or a treble like there, they all have a double crochet in them, and you just match your chain space. So we had 2 chains there, so I've done 2 chains, double crochet in the stitch, 2 chain, double crochet in that stitch. So the return row is nice and relaxing. So just got double crochet in every stitch and a chain over every chain. So just carry on to the end like so, and I will see you when we're ready to start row 7. So here we are after the 6 rows of part 4. I just wanted to show you, actually, if you now look at the last few rows of our part 2, the last time we did inset mosaic, we had this sort of wavy line, and basically we're now going to be doing exactly the same here. So that will then even it up on either side of our part 3. Okay, so pick up our new loop, remembering not to pull this too tight here, and then do our turning chain. Just pull this one down just to close that off, and then we've got 2 edge stitches, and then we have another double crochet before we actually start the main repeat, and another nice straightforward short repeat here. So we start it with, as you can see, because we've got our chains here, we know we're going to have to do our treble 3 rows down there, and then we're going to be doing 2 chain, going to miss this double crochet, and then we know we've got to do another treble like so. And now I've got 1 double crochet, and we start again. So that's straightforward. So 1 treble, 3 rows down, 2 chain, miss a stitch, 1 treble, 3 rows down, 1 double crochet. Okay, one more time, 1 treble, 3 rows down. Okay, so that's now what it looks like after 8 rows have been done. We've now finished with our CC5, so I've just cut that. No need to really worry about fastening it off, because we'll make sure we tidy up all the ends when we're finished and before we put the border on, so that's fine. Just cut that there, leave it reasonably long so you've got a length that you can work with at the end. So now, as always, we're just going to pick up our CC2, pull that down, and because we have got a loose end, what we can do, we're just going to do the edge stitch and just work over that on our first couple of edge stitches there, just to hold that secure before we finally sort of weave it in. Okay, so now this is a lovely straightforward row. All we're going to do along here, if you look, we've got a double crochet before our main repeat, and then so we've got the 3 double crochets there, then we've got start our repeat with 1 double crochet. We know we need to do a treble there because we've got the missed stitch and the chains, and then it's just going to be 2 more double crochets. So basically all the way along you're working a double crochet into all of the stitches, and then when you come to the chain spaces you work your treble 3 rows down. So just carry on along the row like so. 3, okay, so that's now our little sort of infill section finished at the start of part 4, and we're now going to actually start on the sort of grass and the leaves for our tulips. So we're going to pick up our CC1 colour, or XX1 if you're doing the city colourway. So just pull that through, leave that end there, at least sort of 10 centimeters, 4 inches long. Turning chain, and we'll just secure that with our 2 edge stitches. Okay, just pull that end there through. So that's now that done. So we now have another double crochet for our main repeat starts, and this is an even easier repeat across the line. It's just literally going to be 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet. So just carry on, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet. Okay, so just do that right up until you get to the end, and when you get to the end you will find you've got 2 more stitches left, and as always they are edge stitches, so it's 2 double crochets there. Okay, so we're now about to start row 13. I have just pulled up my CC2 colour and done those first 2 edge stitches. Now you'll probably see I've got some stitch markers again now, because until we get the actual shape of the sort of stem and the leaves of the tulip set, it's a slightly longer repeat again now, so you may well find it's useful to just use one of these to pop in the last stitch of each repeat, just so you can keep a track of where you are in the pattern. Okay, so done the first 2 edge stitches, and if you then look, we then need to do, before the main repeat starts, I need 2 chain and miss 1 stitch, and then as before, as you can see, because we've now got chains, you know the next stitch is going to be a treble in there. Okay, so we're starting the repeat with the 1 treble 3 down. Now if you look on the pattern, on the written pattern, you'll see there's some square brackets, so the bits in between the square brackets we're going to do twice, because it tells us after the brackets to do them twice. So we have got 2 chain, so we know we're going to miss a stitch, then 1 treble 3 down, then 1 double crochet, 1 treble 3 down. Okay, so now we've got to do that again. So we've got 2 chain, miss a stitch, 1 treble 3 down, 1 double crochet, 1 treble 3 down. Okay, so we've now done those square brackets twice. So we've now got 2 chain, miss a stitch, 1 treble 3 down, then we've got 2 chain and miss a stitch. So that is actually the end of our repeat where we've missed the stitch. So what I'm going to do is just pop my marker in there. I won't bother to do up. But you see, we've now marked the last stitch of the repeat. So now we can start again. So we know we start the next repeat. So we're missing that one. Start the next repeat there. Poke you through to the front, make it easier for next time. So we start on the next repeat with a treble 3 down. Now we've got the square brackets again. So it's 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble 3 down, 1 double crochet, 1 treble 3 down, 2 chain. So I'll now start on the next one, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble 3 down, 1 double crochet, 1 treble 3 down. Okay, so you can see we've got a little sort of section of three stitches, and then there's the chain in between. So now we've done that twice. We've now finished with the square bracket. So we finished this repeat with 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble 3 down, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch. So just pop the marker in there. Do that one up. So I'm now about to do row 15. If you notice, we've now finished with our CC2 colour for now. So I've cut that off and I've just tucked it under the first couple of stitches there just to hold it in place while we're working. Okay, so now I've done my first 2 edge stitches before the main repeat starts. We've just got that treble 3 down, which you know has got to be there because you've left your chains for it. Okay, so we now start the repeat with 2 chains. So we're going to miss this stitch, obviously. Then we've got 1 treble 3 down. And now we're going to need to miss 2 stitches. So we've got 3 chains, 2, 3, miss 1, 2 stitches. Then we've got 1 double crochet, 1 treble 3 down, and another double crochet. So this is actually the beginnings of the stem of our tulip. Okay, so we've now got another 3 chain, miss these 2 stitches, and then a treble 3 rows down. Then we've got 2 chain, miss a stitch, and now we're going to work our last stitch of the repeat is our treble 3 down in our marked stitch there. So we'll actually take that out for now because it kind of gets in the way when you're trying to work over it. Okay, so treble 3 down in there, and then we are just going to pop that marker back in there like so, so we can keep track of where the last stitch is of our repeat. Okay, so we've done the last bit there, so we now start the new repeat with 2 chains, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble 3 down. So this is like the grass in between the tulips that we're now doing. So we now have our 3 chain, miss 1, 2 stitches, 1 double crochet, 1 treble 3 down, 1 double crochet. So that's our second tulip stem done. 3 chain, miss 2 stitches, 1 treble 2 down, 2 chain, miss one stitch, and then we're at the end of our repeat, and we know that as well because we had our marker in there. So we now finish the repeat with that treble 3 down in that stitch. Okay, so just take that out there, pop that back in. So just repeat that across the row. Right up until you get to the last one. Okay, so here we are after 16 rows. So just got started on row 17 by joining my main colour yarn and just doing those first couple of edge stitches. So I've just tucked that in behind there. We've still got our CC1 attached because we're going to keep needing that for a while now. Okay, so just before the main repeat starts, we need to do 2 chain, and then we'll be doing a treble 3 down in there, which is the start of our first repeat. So we've now got 1 double crochet, 2 trebles 3 down, and you know you've got to do that because you've got the chain spaces there, so there's no other choice. You have to fill that in when you see the chains and the missed stitches. You need to fill it in with those trebles. So we've now got 4 chain, 3, 4, which means we're going to be missing 1, 2, 3 stitches. So all of that little cluster there is going to be missed, and then we've got 2 trebles again. Then we've got a double crochet and another treble, and we're now at the end of our first repeat, and we're going to miss that stitch. So we can actually leave, I will actually tighten this up, we can leave that marker where it is because we're not going to be using that stitch at the moment. So we end our first repeat with 2 chain and we miss that stitch. So now to start again, we've got a treble, double crochet, 2 trebles, 2, and then we've got 4 chains. Now we miss these 3 stitches, 2 trebles 3 rows down, 1 double crochet, 1 treble, and then we finish it up with 2 chains and missing this next stitch here. So okay, so I've now just pulled up the loop for my CC1 and done the first 2 edge stitches. So we just got before the main repeat, it's just going to be treble 3 down in there. Okay, so now we start with 4 chains, 2, 3, 4, which means we're going to be missing 1, 2, 3 stitches. Then we've got 1 double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3 trebles, and a double crochet. So you can see how the sort of stem and the leaves of our tulips are now starting to sort of spread out a little bit. So we've now got another 4 chain, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to miss these 3 stitches, and now it's time to fill in. In fact, we'll take that out of there, fill in that missed stitch there, which was the last stitch of our repeat. Okay, so pop the marker back in there, and then we start again with another 4 chain, miss the 3 stitches, 1 double crochet, 1, 2, 3 trebles, and 1 double crochet, then 4 chain, 2, 3, 4. Miss those 3 stitches, and again we're at the end of our repeat, which is going to be a treble in there. So you can just carry on along the row like so. Okay, so this is now the start of row 21, and as usual I've just picked up my main colour and done these first two little edge stitches there. And then I'm going to start with 2 chains, miss this first stitch, and now the repeat starts with our 3 trebles 3 down. 2, 3. So now we've got 6 chains. It's quite a long chain space this time. 3, 4, 5, 6, which means we're going to be missing these 5 stitches obviously. And then we've got our 3 trebles 3 down again. Then we'll have 2 chain, and then that's the end of our first repeat. We're going to miss this stitch here, sort of middle blade of grass between our tulips, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 trebles, 6 chains, miss all 5 of those stitches, and 3 trebles. So it's actually quite a nice easy repeat. You've just got your treble 3 down where we missed the stitches, so all in little sort of groups of 3, and then in between you've got either 2 chain and miss 1 stitch, which is at the end of your repeats, or in the other ones where the actual tulips are going to be, you've got your 6 chain and you're missing 5 stitches. So you just okay, so it's now starting to build. Now we can see where the tulips are now going to be. So, and I'm just starting row 23, and I've done the first couple of edge stitches again as usual. So we're now going to start after the edge stitches. So we've got that treble 3 rows down. Now we've got 3 chain, 2, 3. We're going to miss 2 stitches and work a double crochet in there. And then we know we're going to have to work trebles in all of these 5 missed stitches. No other choice when there's a chain there. 3, 4, 5, and then a double crochet, and then we complete the repeat with 3 chains, miss 2 stitches, and 1 treble 3 down in that marked stitch, which we know is the end of our repeat. I'm actually not going to bother with the stitch markers anymore. I think, or for me, I can now see where each repeat ends, which is where we are between the tulips. So that's now my last stitch of the repeat. So we start again with 3 chain, miss the 2 stitches, 1 double crochet, 5 trebles in those missed stitches there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3 chain, and we finish the second repeat with our treble in there. Okay, so I've now just started row 25 with the first 2 edge stitches in the main colour, and we just need to do 1 more double crochet before we start the main repeat. So when I'm going to start that, as we can see, we have to do 2 trebles in those missed stitches there. No other choice when you see those chains. So now we've got 3 chain, going to miss 2 stitches and then do a double crochet, then 2 chain, which means obviously we miss 1 stitch, double crochet, get through that, then 3 chains, miss these stitches, and then we've got our 2 treble 3 rows down there, and then 1 double crochet. So that now that middle sort of long blade of grass there is now finished now, so we've just topped that off with a double crochet in our main colour. So we've now got 2 trebles, 2 down, so we've now started the next repeat with that. 3 chain, there's 2 stitches, 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 2 3 chain, miss these 2 stitches, then our 2 trebles, and finally we complete that repeat with a double crochet. So okay, so it's all come together nicely now. Now we've sort of lost this stitch in the middle, you will notice if you look at the written instructions that there is actually a new symbol on the chart. It's one we did use in part 2, which is the sort of hashtag, which is where I put that in when the last bit of the final repeat that you do is going to be slightly different to the others. So what you'll do all the way through, all the way across the line, you just ignore the hashtag to start with until you get to that very final repeat, and then we will be looking at that and doing what it says to do there. So the first time we see it in part 4 is on row 27, so I'll just take you through that now. So I've started as always with the 2 edge stitches, the 2 double crochet edge stitches, and then we have got we're actually now starting with 3 chain, and we're missing 2 stitches, and then the repeat starts here. So we've shuffled across a little bit. The repeat's 1 stitch further to this side, and this is why, because of this little bit here, that'll sort of hopefully explain why we've got the hashtag. So anyway, we're now starting with 3 chain, miss 2 stitches, and 1 double crochet is the first stitch of our main repeat. So we've then got 2 trebles, and then 2 chain, miss this stitch, 1 treble 3 down, 2 chain, miss the next stitch, 2 trebles, then we've got 1 double crochet there. So this is where we now have the little hashtag. So as I say, because we've just started, you ignore that for now, and we're going to do 4 chains, miss 3 stitches, and then we start our repeat again here. So 1 double crochet, 2 trebles, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 2 trebles, and then 1 double crochet, and then 4 chain and miss the 3 stitches. So carry on until you get to your last repeat. I'm just going to actually probably just carry on here and quickly do that now, and then when we get to the last repeat we'll just run through that together again. Two chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 2 trebles, then a double crochet, and that's when you now see the hashtag again. So you'll see that you now have to say you repeat to the last 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left, and we've ended it at where the hashtag was. So now we need to do 3 chain. So instead of 4, we're now doing 3 chain at this end, which matches up or like mirrors the 3 chain we did at the start of the row. So this is all just to keep our blanket nice and symmetrical. So we've got the 3 chain, we're missing 2 stitches, and then we're just going to do 2 stitches left for our edge stitch. So yeah, that's just to explain that. So don't worry about the hashtag until you get to your final repeat. Okay, so you want to go back and do the next row, and you'll find there's quite a few more of those with a little hashtag, but just read it the way we did there, where you completely ignore it right up until the last repeats, where you just stop there and then do whatever the instructions say afterwards. Okay, so I think you can carry on now and probably complete the part. What I will do, I won't be running through all of the different rows with you, but I will just come back every few rows and just show you a little photo of what your work should be looking like after whichever row it is.